Welcome to AniMirror, the podcast where the wisdom of the animal kingdom meets the depth of self-awareness.
We're your hostesses, Dr. Melissa Sell and Amy Michelle. Together, we explore the profound ways animals reflect our inner world and reveal the patterns shaping our lives.
Through the lens of the 5 biological laws of the Germanic healing knowledge, we uncover the deeper truths behind our experiences and how they can guide us towards healing and growth.
We mix a little woo-woo with biology. We're responding to the call of the wild, attuning to the frequency of nature that Dr. Halmer himself called quintessence. Whether you're curious about the underlying meaning behind your pets or frankly any animal's behavior, intrigued by nature's synchronicities, or seeking to break free from cycles of suffering, you're in the right place at the right time.
Each episode is an invitation to expand your awareness, discover new perspectives, and embrace the transformative power of the mirror animals and nature hold up for us.
So, come wildly curious and dare to open your heart in community out loud with us. And let's explore the fascinating interplay between the outer and inner worlds.
Welcome to
AniMirror, the new frontier.
Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the AniMirror podcast. We have a very, very special guest with us today, one of our original AniMirror class attendants. We have Guna and Aris, who is off screen right now, but he is with us, and he has brought forth so many amazing stories and AniMirrors and lessons and insights for Guna. And so today we're going to be unpacking the latest insights. And so welcome, Guna. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you. Hi.
Will you give the listeners and the viewers who however they're receiving this information, just like the kind of the stats? Where are you located? What is, Aris is a dog, but, a little bit more about Aris, his breed, and just maybe his age, and just kind of the basics, and then just roll from there.
Yeah, okay. We are in France. Aris is a Doberman male. He's gonna be 2 years Monday, in few days. We got him when he was already 7 months. He was being rehomed. And he didn't have much education, so the beginning was very tough. And I don't know what else.
Do you know, just for curiosities out there, why he was rehomed, or how, or even why you were looking and how you guys reunited here in this, on the stage in this lifetime?
Well, I knew Dobermans. I knew the race. I really love them. They are the sweetest dogs on earth for me, in my opinion. And I really wanted a dog, and I didn't had opportunity because of the housing. And then suddenly we got a housing where it was possible. And then next week, I didn't really know. I just know that finally it has been so long time that I had been dreaming of it, and finally it was possible. And I saw the announcement. The people were rehoming him because they realized that they were not taking good care of him, that he was not taken good care of, and that they were not enough present, and etc. And they just had a big house and a big land, and they didn't do any education, and they didn't do anything with him, and they had really no awareness about how to take care of a dog. Yeah. I thought I had, but then I realized that I hadn't either. It was a long journey, a lot to learn, I think, for lifelong.
So how did you, because Melissa and I, of course, know all of the stories from AniMirror, but what do you want to, like, how did you come to AniMirror, and then sort of how did it unfold for you from your experience of AniMirror in the lives and your interaction, your new relationship with Aris, and then kind of forward to today, what you're currently experiencing, and we can just unpack from there.
I will just add to how we met because it's very relative to what's going on now. The first thing when we went to visit meet Aris, the first thing he did was he peed on me. And yeah, so it's relative to what's going on now. We are dealing with this territory marking thing, complete mirroring. But yeah, how we met, he was in a really bad shape. He was new to everything. He was extremely anxious, extremely sensitive. It's really strange now to speak about him because I'm now very aware that whatever I'm saying about him, I'm saying it about myself. And I don't want to tell all that, but it was hard. Yeah. And so I was anxious. He was anxious. He was making me more anxious, and I was making him more anxious. And it was like, and then we did work with trainers and educators, and actually the first one we met for a first encounter, 2 or 3 hours, and then she told me, well, ours is like this, like this, like this, like this, like this. Doesn't this make you think about something? And I was like, well, this is me. And it's yeah, when I saw email about AniMirror, I was already at a point where I was having this realization that it's such a mirror. I was having this realization that luckily he's my first child, because I was aware that I am living with him the same kind of, he's experiencing with me the same kind of childhood trauma I experienced as a little child, in the attitude, in the not being understood, in the restrictions, and in the and being so sensitive and so yeah, so eager for everything. And yeah, so when I saw the email, I was, well, this is the real thing, because it absolutely spoke to me with what I felt already like true. And then in the course itself, it was a next level. It was yeah, yeah, that's where I realized I I I felt like it's kind of a very powerful therapy. I went there because I was interested in learning GNM, and I was struggling with my dog, and and I felt like I have done everything, and yeah, he didn't have specific health issues, so I didn't go with specific health issues. But then very soon I found out that there were behavioral issues that we could interpret in mirroring, and like simple things like diarrhea, morsel conflict, and constipation, and what is going on with him and what is going on with me. Him showing me how little, at the point when we started AniMirror, uh, we had we were at a point where I was trying to train him to walk on leash, because we did all the trainings with the trainers, nothing worked. Then we walked with him off leash, but then he started to wander away too far, and it started to become dangerous because of other people being able to pick him up. And I was 1 month in we just walk on leash, and it's a big dog. He's just 10 kilo less than me. He's very big and very strong, and it was harsh. And he's young and excited and pulling and absolutely all over the place. ADHD, I know I'm speaking about myself. But it's funny, whenever people now tell about their pets, I'm like, "Mm, okay, this is I. It's so funny. Yeah, and so we learned in the first workshop in AniMirror that there was no fun. That there was no fun, that we were desperately, overly serious and restricted and unhappy, and that there was no fun, and we desperately needed fun. He did, and actually I did too, and yeah, and then we started to go to agility, and then we started to hang out with just things unraveled. You know, when you do the work, then the things just take place, just like fall. You ask and you are given, and then we met a dog friend, and then we started again walking off leash and with another dog, and ours learned gradually to not wander too far away and to be at a safe distance, and to he has so much evolved since we started. I just can't believe, and I am so much better too, and it's like it's a mutual influence, and yeah, there were these funny little daily observations when he would have diarrhea, and as well the relief of not being so worried about this, understanding that, oh, well, that he has diarrhea doesn't mean, has nothing actually to do, which would be logical, because if nothing changed with the food, so then what happened? Yeah, and yeah, and then he started to have more fun, and I started to have more fun, and he started to behave better, and walking on leash is still his not favorite thing, and I so understand him. I wouldn't want to be on leash either. Yeah, so, and yeah, the latest, not the very, very latest thing, but the recent latest development is that when we are on the walk in the forest, and so he needs to run, and he's just running away and then coming quickly back to check on me if I'm there, and running away and coming quickly back, and but I still get a little bit worried if I don't see him for like more than a minute or like that, and I realized that he was reflecting my spirit, my wandering spirit, my monkey mind. And then I started playing on the walks with this, that in the forest, when he was out of my sight, I consciously brought my awareness to observing my thoughts, being present. And in that instant, he's coming back into my sight. It's just amazing. So I don't really want to. We do walk with friends and other dogs sometimes, but I really enjoy as well walking with him. Uh, yeah, it's a practice. We're training. Mm, yeah.
What a
Mm.
journey. I remember you sharing in the lives in the very beginning. Well, first of all, yes, that you weren't having any fun. He wasn't having any fun, but he was, and he was kind of, inspiring it out of you. But this, I love the connection you made of the monkey mind, the wild mind that just takes off, literally like that, takes off in the forest and is down a rabbit hole, which really what you're speaking to is complete disconnection between spirit and body. And as you reflect on that and you bring it back in and center into present, here the presence comes of the physical in front of you. in that AniMirror. And in the beginning, in the one of the lives, I think you were sharing that he was kind of acting up or showing he's not getting enough presence with you. And I remember we were talking about, well, what if you just started to just sit with him in presence, like a minute before you left? And there was this shift, which you've now evolved and expanded through, which is almost what I think I hear, and you can speak to this, is there's a desire to be home in my body, present in this moment, each as you're, instead of being out with all the other dogs and other people, I actually, this isn't, becomes a fun experiment of, oh my God, I've wandered off, and so has he. And now, you know, what is it like to bring myself back, which is speaks to so many, I think, fears and or people's the general population of, I can't meditate because my thoughts never stop. You know, I can't get present because my thoughts never stop. But what you're saying is, first of all, you don't have to be sitting. You can be doing a walking, wandering, meditative present state. And the awareness of the thoughts that have gone running through the forest, that awareness, and then calling it back home, that is brilliant. Just such a testament that is, I mean, wow, perhaps we can take this to the global stage. We won't need leashes, which we all know they don't love. And in every arena, there's so many dogs who are leash aggressive. No one wants to be tied to a noose, to a leash, yanked, pulled, right? And we know Aris is a perfect AniMirror for this because he's big and he's bold and he's courageous and he's full of energy and might, and all to have fun. So I love where you are, and really just what you're offering, the grand stage. I've always wondered this as a mom of dogs. Like, I know this too through old traditional training. They're leash aggressive, but is that really true? That's just the label. No, they just want to have fun. And watching just a minute ago, before we began, a neighbor who was all tied up with the leash, that she had all three dogs on this kind of octopus leash, and I could feel the frazzle. It's me. It's what we've talked about. I have four, and I said, oh yeah, I understand. And she kept talking because that was me. It was the mind was like, and then the judging and the shame, and while this happened, you know, the bigger of the dogs, Lucy, she was climbing all over me, and she was kind of warning me, she's going to climb on you. And I said, it's okay. It's okay. I'm good with it. And as that was happening, one of the other little pugs just took a pee on my purse. And I looked and I thought, wow, like this, here we are about to talk about, you know, cue in the territory marking, but also looking at the parent who is me and saying, it's okay. I get you because I understand you're me. And it's overwhelming when you cannot see it. And the peace comes when we're willing, as you say, you ask and receive, and you start to get these mental morsels, these nuggets of, wow, well, what if I just think about it? Or maybe just for a moment, I say, oh, well, maybe it is me. Well, what would that mean, and how would my life change? And you're speaking to that, and we live it, and you're speaking to your own beautiful experience of, oh my God. And so cue in the story of the current day, because we're definitely, as the phrase goes,
I can
taking the
share
piss out of things.
something else
Yeah.
is just coming back about being yanked and pulled on leash. With Aris, it's me who gets pulled and yanked on leash. And then I got this, okay, and why is he resisting? Why is he resisting that leash? And I was like, okay, I am actually resisting so hard, so many things in life. And I was like, wow, another lesson. But what you say reminds me of how now so you have four, right? Or four.
Yes.
And I have several friends that have two. Melissa has two, right?
Three now, as of 2 days.
Three.
We just got another dog.
And I'm now, I think it's already a lot if I have one mirror, but if there are so many mirrors, there's so much to work with. So many things, so many messages coming in, and different stories, but still I can see it on the people. It's amazing. And especially when they speak about their dogs. That's like the direct. I don't know. And yeah, another thing that I remember from back then, back in the time, we had ours. We had one big problem with ours because in our region, the dogs there are no big dogs, and ours is really there are normal Dobermans, and he's a big Doberman. He's huge. And there locally we have border collies mainly, and Australian shepherds, and plenty of these medium-sized dogs, and people are really scared of big dogs, and people are now less scared because I have been working through this thing. I had been projecting, and maybe it's a part, and of course it's a part of me. I have been feeling like Aris is so big and so dangerous, and he can hurt someone, and he can just run in, because he used to do this. He used to run into us when he was younger, and he can hurt you, and he's so free and rebellious that he's dangerous, and I think I was having this thought of me being dangerous, and on another walk I just got this thought. I just caught it that I need to change the way I'm feeling and thinking about him as well, and what I'm projecting, that no, he is not crazy dangerous and big, and that too has shifted. He's running around. There are no issues with people, and yeah, it's quite amazing.
Incredible. Yeah, just that thought of, ooh, I'm in resistance, I'm telling a story, and he has no choice but to comply with whatever I'm feeling, thinking, projecting about him. He's like, okay, I'm big, I'm dangerous, I'm scary. I do, and it's like, oh, as I say it, is that, even just being curious, could this be? Is it simply an objective fact of reality that he's a big dog that's perceived as dangerous in this world of medium-sized dogs that, look a lot less threatening? But it's like, well, what if you know him to be a big lover. That's the reason you got this specific breed, is because you're like, oh, there's just so much love. There's just, and it's like, oh, what if that's what I project? That people just see this big, beautiful, epic, loving dog who, not that tinge of threat, or, and seeing the mirror, like, oh, how do I, what does that mean for me? Is there something that some identity or story that I've cast upon myself that isn't love necessarily want, but it just feels like the only, the most obvious story? And that's where we get creative with this work, is it allows us to see, am I choosing, am I just settling for the default assumptions?
Yeah, and as you speak of it, it reminds me that I did have stories in my past where people do perceive me as a threat, which is so incomprehensible, because I'm like the sweetest person in the world, like my dog. But I have come across people who have been scared of me, and so shocking and incomprehensible. And now ours. Yeah, now ours is his expression, and he was really mirroring my fear of people. So he was a little bit he was super anxious and super reactive in the beginning when we got him, because and then the people got super scared, and then I got super scared of the people, and there was this vicious circle and I was so scared of the people because of Aris and for Aris and how they would react, and it was just aggravating. And and we had in the middle of the path, we did had some not such nice interactions where Aris showed up again to be a real mirror of me and as well of my partner, because it's so funny how he mirrors my partner too, and we are not the same. We are, at some ways we are very opposite, but he shows the both. So I'm like, this is your son. This is my son. And there are places where, and ours is just when there is someone is not happy with him or someone is aggressive with him, he would just leave. He just goes away. He just never gets into some, okay, like, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Okay, I'm leaving. This is not for me. So it's so in the end we have learned that. So now we have gradually eased out. I have eased out of this, the fear of people, and Aris as well doesn't need to mirror this this anxiety and this fear of people. But while we were working through it, there was this. I was even having mirrored my own fear of persecution, because I am like very out of the system, very alternative about free birthing. And free birthing in France, it's almost illegal. On paper is legal, but then everyone gets persecuted. And I was I was mirrored by Ars of this, because Ars got persecuted twice. He was taken on pictures because he was too far away from me, and put on a local Facebook group, like, oh, this there is this, we already called the police, no, and yeah, very unpleasant things. But luckily I knew how to read, thanks to you, how to read this message, that this is something that actually belongs to me. So yeah, it's a powerful self-healing tool, because we can heal ourselves through knowing ourselves. So the animal is showing in ourselves the things we can't see, the subconscious things, the repressed things, the covered things. So yeah, I'm really excited. So I'm excited to share about it.
Same, yeah. That's why we love this. It's like, wow, who would have thought, right? That these dogs that we get, and these cats and bunnies and all these animals that we welcome, these farm animals, that they have, this capacity to show us. And I mean, once you really start thinking about it, you're like, of course, everything is showing me what I need to see. And it's just so delightful and fun and cool that it's through these amazing, cuddly, wonderful, athletic, impressive creatures that have this, this willingness to, be this mirror, to come in and to show you things. And it's this mutually beneficial life situation, right? And there's just so much that we can grow through. So it's very exciting. We love the stories. It just is so nourishing to see, oh gosh, she learned that. And even everyone, and that's why we're doing this in a podcast format, because anyone hearing this, right, you now have, there's and each share about each symptom, right? Whether it's the leash pulling, or this aggressive story, or the story of territory marking. Everyone has their own examples of this in their life, and so this is such an opportunity for us to just help people to wake up and turn on that light switch to see what they maybe were missing before, right? It was right in front of their face, but they couldn't see it for what it was.
Yeah, and it's a service. It's to heal ourselves. They are showing it. It's magic. And I wanted to point out that what I got out of this as well is, as well, that's of course self-healing, the ability to accept and love not just him, but myself through him better. Because there are so many annoying characteristics in him. He's so clingy. he's he's so unfocused. He's overly excited. He's so vocal. and and since AniMirror, I just can't not acknowledge that, well, this is me. And so I can't really one thing is that I don't want any more change things in him that I can't change in me. I mean, if I want to change things in him, I need to understand that I need to be able to change these things in me. And then these things will change automatically within him. And so this makes me humble because not only I know I can't change it within him, I have to accept, but then I'm like, okay, I have to face how much can I change within me and how much I then have to accept within me. Yeah.
It's beautiful. And the newest message that I hear woven through that, two of them from him for us, is it's okay to take up space. That was one thing I heard, go far out, take up space. I'm big, I'm loud, I have a voice, and hidden in his name, which we unraveled in one of the lives, is Risa, which we know is, I think it's laughter. And so there's this big dog laughing, and we know that's one of the ways to resolve a conflict too. So it's just magnificent how perfect he comes in and says, take up space, laugh at it. If you can laugh at it, you can resolve it, right? And this this new one, which I have a way of saying pause off, but the way that you presented it through him is he walks away when there's chaos, when there's anger. He just walks away, almost like not an avoidance, like, that's cool, you do you, I'm not going to touch that. Kind of like when you have your monkey mind and, he's wandered off. It gives you space to recognize, oh, this is me. And the moment you call that back in of yourself, he shows back up. And so this when there's an argument, for example, or someone's behaving a certain way that doesn't feel good, our option that he's now offered is just take a pause, walk away from that. Don't engage with that part of me that is enraged. I witness it, I accept it, I see it, but for now, I'm going to just take space from it and let, as you did with your mind, let it attune to the other frequency, which is love, laughter, the joy, instead of engaging. And that's, I mean, my own personal take on that, and what a transformation that offers is, don't engage in things that are of what's the word? The word I want to use is poison, but it's just, it can become poison. It's like eating the poison and killing yourself, instead of just giving a moment, giving space, giving breath, giving air to something, let it air out. And that's what he's offered in that story. Man, he always, as I think I said kind of jokingly, but seriously, here we are in this sort of season of all of the holidays, is who wouldn't want to be a disciple of Aris? I mean, it's just, he's this big, bold presence, and you just, and we'll have a picture on the thumbnail so people can get just a glimpse of this gorgeous, huge, almost Goliath, right? But not a bad Goliath that you have to attack and kill. You welcome it home, because somewhere in there, it's your fearful animal giant in you that is afraid of humans, afraid of being persecuted, and all the things that we have in our own way. So, wow. Just wow. This
was AniMirror in real life. This was how it was going on in the workshop, because now you showed me the lesson that he was showing that I was not aware of, the very direct lesson. Yeah, when there is an aggressive dog, just go away. I saw this and I was just proud. Oh, we are so cool. We don't engage. But I didn't really even understood that it's a very another beautiful spiritual teaching. It's my spiritual guru, definitely. And yeah, what was my interpretation on his reaction, knowing him, is that like the only thing that he cares of is to play. Like, if you're not here to play with me, bye. And this is I think this is my essence, what I'm not really living, but this is another thing that I should be integrating. Yeah. And about his name, Aris. So ri in French as well, it's love. So we so often get reminded of that he's here to make us laugh, and he really makes us laugh a lot.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I can tell now about the marking territory marking issue.
Yeah, let's weave in the
It is
GNM and yeah, go for it.
I'm very far from resolving anything, but I just realized because so the resolution of territory marking conflict is burning while you pee UTI symptoms. And so I got UTI, and then I thought, well, but then the conflict active was like peeing often, and I thought I somehow misunderstood something, and I thought, okay, if I like pee often or pee a lot, maybe I'm just resolving a KCT. And that was my denial, I guess. I didn't realize that I wasn't peeing huge amounts. I was just peeing often. I was just thinking, okay, maybe I just drink a lot, and I don't know. And then it dawned that, well, ours is marking was marking a lot, and we have been having we made so much fun of it. Dogs leave these emails and then they read, and so since he was marking a lot, we were making fun of it, like he's putting likes on Facebook posts and he's replying, and then he's like going 2 meters and a like and this and that, and so like marking all the time, and I never and so we are a little bit, I think I was conditioned to think that my unneutered male dog marks all the time, that it's just like default. But so when it dawned me, I did a little search, and turns out that it's not a default. And then I realized, oh my God, all this time since we know ours, he has been showing me this. And the funny thing is that since I have this UTI, he is marking so much less. He's not marking all the time. So I don't know if it's resolving or if it's hanging, because I have a little bit trouble to putting finger on. It's quite complicated. But yeah, interesting mirroring. So I had to realize I have been in complete unawareness of having boundaries issues, and then since I'm having my UTI, just reflecting, and I'm like, okay, yes, I see it there and there and there and there and there, and actually it's like a big theme of who I am. Even I have done so much work, but you do all the work, but then there is next layers, and it's more subtle, and ours kindly have been showing me for a year and a half, and I was just oh, so funny. Oh, it's not a problem, it's just normal. He's not neutered, I'm not neutering him. It's not normal, it's not a problem. I have no problem that he marks. Okay, didn't think, didn't make anything of it. So Thank you.
Wow,
Yeah.
that is really quite something. And going back to even your first meeting, how he marked on you and
Yeah. Yeah.
right? So here it's like he's like, "Hey, this is a thing of yours." And she's like, "Da, da, da, this is fine. It's normal. The unneutered male dog, right?" And so overlooking the boundary stuff for you, and it wasn't until and just for anyone who isn't familiar with the biological program of the bladder, mucosa, and the urethra. So when we are in a marking conflict, so this is about delineating my boundaries, right? For the female, it's her inner boundaries, her inner territory. So this includes her sexuality, her femininity, includes her man. It includes, anything that the woman deems as her territory. For the man, he has his outer territory, right? So this is about his space and boundaries, because this is one of those conflicts that has a female flavor as well as a male flavor. And when you're actively in this conflict where you're like, I need to delineate my boundaries, I need to let you know that this is mine, right? So there is a widening, there's a loss of tissue in either the bladder mucosa or the urethra, somewhere along the urinary tract. There's less tissue, because when there's less tissue, we widen, right? So we're better able to pee, to mark our territory. And like Guna was mentioning, one of the active conflict symptoms is frequent urination. And she was, differentiating that with the kidney collecting tubules, which is the feeling isolated, abandoned, fish out of water, existence conflict. We hold on to water with the kidney collecting tubules. And then during the healing phase, we release all that held up urine. And so it's like, yes, excess peeing could be that you've resolved a KCT, but it could also be that you're actively in this boundary territory marking. And so she was seeing the mirror of Aris going around marking very frequently. She also is peeing very frequently, but it wasn't until was it the resolution. So now that she has gotten off this track and some resolution has come about in the realm of boundaries, right? So she is now experiencing the uncomfortable symptom of restoration. So when we erode and widen the bladder mucosa or the urethral lining, we don't really have many symptoms other than the frequent urination. But then during the healing phase, the body, there's always, when there's inflammation and swelling, that's indication of repair. So there's little repair workers that are rebuilding the lining, and that's when we have burning during urination, when it's uncomfortable, and so that means the body is repairing and restoring. And she noticed that, wow, now that she's in this healing phase, whoa, wouldn't you know that Aris isn't marking quite as much, right? For this, this male dog who we just thought it was normal for him. So that is such a cool and very, very specific, right? Even to be modeling the phase of the program that you're in. I mean, it's unmistakable. And so, yeah, wow. Thank you for sharing that, even though I know it's very uncomfortable to have UTIs, and we use the term UTI, which is the urinary tract infection according to conventional medicine, but we know it's not an infection. Infection is this word that indicates, oh, some bacteria is doing something it shouldn't do, and it has infected my body. That's not what's happening at all. If there are bacteria involved in the urinary tract symptom, it's because this conflict was long and intense, right? Went on for a long time and got so deep through the ectodermal tissue that there needs to be the bacteria there to repair the tissue beyond, because with the squamous epithelium, the red group, again, if you're new to all of this, get into the AniMirror course. We go through and explain how the tissue layers work, but the bacteria only come in the other tissue layers, not in the red group. So that is just a little sneak peek into what is going on with this biological program of the urinary tract. And so, wow, I mean, that is just incredible. And how many people deal with dogs marking things, marking you? This is a very, very common phenomenon. And how many people are looking at this as the mirror, right? Most people think it's the dog's problem. I need to train the dog better. I need to punish the dog and get the dog to be in line, or change them. But when we are going through this AniMirror lens, you see, what is this in me? What is this in me? That is the most beautiful question to ask.
Even the, when you have multiple dogs, to speak to that, where one is neutered and two aren't, one is intact and two aren't, because that's the way they came. And all four, so one female, three males, one intact, all four are marking. And this is a recurring, right? This is so now this is how we, for the really like intro to this is not a symptom. This is meaning this is I can't apply it to everything and everyone. It's not just the one that's intact, it's all of them. So for me, this is huge. It's not just male, it's female. And this has been recurring, hanging healing for me. And here you come, right? And speaking to the phase, which is another piece of AniMirror, which I think, people have asked along the way, is, well, if I resolve it in me, or as I begin to become aware it's me, will it disappear? Will it resolve in them? The answer you're speaking to is yes. It's only the screen that I now know is me. And so we either resolve together, or I pick up where they left off, where they showed me. And this can go on for even, so for example, when you didn't know that it was about you and he came into your life and he was already showing you, queuing up what's coming in the future, that is part of this dynamic. I got this nuance the other day. Oh my God, there's something that I'm working through with one of mine that showed up 3 years ago, before any of this was even in my reality. The mirror work was, but not the GNM perspective. And so weaving this all in, and 3.5 years later, it just clicked the other day. Oh my goodness, this is me too, of course. And now it was like I wasn't ready. I couldn't see it. You can't see it if you're not ready, but you can keep asking, and we will receive it when the time is ripe, right? When the fruit is ripe to be picked from the tree of knowledge, then I'll be ready to receive it. So it's it really is life-changing, right? Even I mean, us who, the information and channeled through, let's do this, but this is not, it's nothing that we could ever kind of say, okay, we're done. This is the evolution and the expansion of the mind and the body adapting. And now you have, if you think that's just it, well, then you have the reflection. So there's this dance of nature, biology, and my projection and reflection, meaning it's as above, so below, as within, so without. It's always something for me, not against me, not to me. And this is the shift in the perspective to say, well, great. And so now what? Well, everything's different. And now we get to look at it different. And yeah, you have normal conversations now and you hear people talking about their dogs. It's just kind of like, oh, now I know why I have a dog that has laugh in it, because it's not laughing at them. It's just laughing at the joy of, oh, I wonder if they'll ever see that it's them, and then be able to shift that. Or people watch you and what happened, like, wait a minute, he used to do this and now he's not doing that. Or what have you been doing? And there's that opportunity. So, yeah, I've been taking it all in, let me tell you. There was no training. It was me, mind training me of this is me. And this is exciting because when you can see it, it shifts, including, some random, Melissa was explaining ticks, which is a whole other topic some other time, but they do have this disappearing act. When you see them and you go to get them, they disappear. It's like elusive, but in a game. Like, now you see me, now you don't. And are you willing to see this or not? Are you wanting to see this or not? It's just it becomes more fun instead of, oh my God, this is overwhelming. And yes, it is when you don't even know to ask. So the woman that I, kind of came upon, who looked like my avatar, 3 dogs and her legs all tied up, and I'm trying to help her unhinge herself. She's tied herself up 3 ways, right? It's like, how do I get out of this straitjacket? Meanwhile, part of me is peeing on your bag, and she's like, well, I don't understand, as she's profusely apologizing. And I said, it's okay, because I know it's me, and this dog just showed me, oh, you're going to mark too? Whew, it doesn't even have to be your animal. That's the greatest part about this, is wherever you go, there you are. And so I laughed and I brought it in and I said, oh, wonderful. Because not only did someone mark one of the blankets this morning, as we're moving into the space of talking about territory marking, I'm outside and you think, ah, yeah, it's just, you're in your life. It's only my animals. No. And that was what people discovered in the experience of AniMirror also. Wait, I don't have any animals. But I'm sitting for animals, or I'm volunteering at a farm and I'm interacting with them. Yes, 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 yes. Every direction, wherever we go, there we are. So the opportunities are endless. It's Alice in Wonderland. Just pick your animal or nature, or even in the case of the bacteria that comes to help clean up the adaptation. They're here to clean up your act for the next. It's like the stage. Like they're the cleanup crew, that goes backstage and cleans up the stage for the next act. It's brilliant, really, when we get down to the fine-tuning details of, oh, thank you for coming. I don't need to do a parasite cleanse or, I just thank you, right? Thank you. And I must be cleaning something up. Hallelujah. I've hit something in my awareness and I don't need to run from it anymore. And if it's chaotic and I'm overwhelmed, well, now we know Aris is like, yeah, just take a pause. I'm going to walk away from this right now because I can't see it and it's going to explode if I engage with it. Like we're all familiar with relationships, right? And the ego is like, no, I'm going to tell you I'm right. So we either want to be right or we want to be happy. And in Aris's case, you can be right or you can just laugh. And if you laugh, then you might be able to see an opening for something, path of peace, as you are experiencing live on your walks. It's phenomenal. Wow.
Yeah.
Aris for president.
Yeah, absolutely. Aris is my sports coach, my spiritual guide, my my father, my son, my brother, my God. He's very much into cooking and eating, and he's a foodie, and he's a star.
He is.
But it's what you were describing. It as well describes how you resolve one thing and then you get ready to face another. And so so I remember back when Aris was having this, when he made me to look at my morsel conflict with this constipation, diarrhea. So I had to really, really, really go into all possible morsel conflicts, and that's better. But then still something sometimes comes up, and then there's not much worry. It's just okay. It means you need to look at something. But back to so many dogs marking, I think the modern society it's difficult to find people who don't have boundaries issues. It's just so common. It comes from so it's normal that we believe that all dogs mark, and then let's go neuter them so they don't mark. Well, wonderful. I mean,
but you find in my case they were neutered and they're still marking. So it's never
this is
right.
the thing. It's not gonna solve it because it's important information. It's for us.
Yeah.
It's you can't take all the pills you want for depression. That's as well. Yeah, there is no pill.
We do what we do until we're ready, right? Until we're ready, until the system's ready. And we definitely advertise and promote throughout the course and the lives. It's the path of peace. Whatever you need in that moment, don't worry, it will keep showing up for you, even if you attempt to fix it. But it's not a fix, it is a fix in the moment. But the Band-Aid will eventually come off and there will be something that speaks and it'll find a different way. Just like trapped emotions, we can hide them unconsciously to protect us when we're young. and eventually they will rear their head and they will find their way. And if it's not in the knee, it'll be in the shoulder. And so it will find its way in all the different creative ways to show us to say, nope, you're ready for this. Oh, okay, we're not. Okay, okay. And then you keep going back and forth. It's kind of like the hamster wheel where we would say it's recurring or hanging healing, right? And mine has been, I've been watching it for 3.5 years, one of them. And oh, and it's not that I haven't been looking or I'm not aware. It's just, well, there was another one that was pressing that had to come first. And now, oh, now I can say, okay, I'm ready for this because it's blossoming in my awareness. It's becoming, a new tree sprouted in the forest of my mind. And I'm like, wait, where did that tree come from? Oh, well, I did smell it. I knew it was there, but I couldn't see it yet. And now I do. And so yeah, now comes the fun of, okay, and now what do I do with this? And so that's kind of a nuance of AniMirror, even from GNM to AniMirror, what we, the way we kind of ask the questions and information is it's just sort of what's next. And you can ask the animal, or you can ask nature, or you can ask the house or the car. Everything is mirroring in this philosophy, in this frontier of I get to be responsible. I get to change it. I'm the change agent. Okay, so now what's next? And it's not even having to worry about what is the right question. It's just that the willingness to sit and look is everything. I know you know that now, and that just I can't say I'm like an experienced anything because I'm experiencing asking new questions is what I'm good at. Okay, that didn't get me the portal I needed. Okay, different key, right? It's just trying different keys and learning to receive and accept along the way. Okay, well that it's not that it didn't do anything. It fit it tiny bit, but it's not the exact resolution yet. But each new thing gives me another piece of myself and the resolution. And yes, as a human, it becomes challenging, which is why I love what he offered today, which is it becomes challenging in the way of I want to blame. It's part of like, oh, and then I know I can't because it's me. Well, then there's that like self-blame. Oh, it's me. I'm the problem. No, I'm the solution. Because always where there's a problem, there's always a solution, or there wouldn't be. You can't have one without the other. So it's a practice of taking a deep breath, leaving the room, going out for a walk, going to play, ignoring it completely, and coming back to it over and over until you're ready, whichever avenue you find. Yeah, medicine or this, either way, you're going to find yourself. That's what I say. We'll find ourselves. We'll find ourselves in the vet. We'll face a conflict in the vet. Wait a minute, you said what? Oh yeah, I used to do that. Oh, okay. So in any which way, everywhere we go. Yeah.
And what you say about asking and you just ask and with asking comes listening. And sometimes I don't even ask. I just what's coming up? What is he saying? And so yeah, it's you ask and then you listen, and when you listen, then you hear, and when you suddenly hear, that level of information comes to you when you are ready to face it and to do something with it. It's all so perfectly organized somehow. But I wanted to speak because you mentioned ticks. Last year, so now it's spring and it's tick season. Last year, we were taking off Aris like, I don't know, like 5 ticks that had bitten a day. And then before he went in home, we just picked off of his coat like a few. And now we had just one. But it's not that there are no ticks. And we found some on us at home, just crawling twice. Once me, once my partner. And I'm just going as well so deeply within this. Okay, if ticks are like bacteria, they are here to solve something. I need to work with my fear of them. I just need to, okay, so I feel like that having less of this fear and having more of this understanding is somehow making this magic that we don't have them. But then on the other hand, I am now having this bacteria, and that's super painful. And that's like the hardest place really to be there. Yeah, it's for me. It's nice, thank you. And then I imagine when you have a tick, that's like the hardest place to be like to avoid separation, conflict, the fear, the death fright, etc. All the things, and they're like, okay, probably you brought me something, thank you. It's not easy, but it makes life easier, at least to go in there step by step, step by step. I mean, these 3 days with UTI have been it has been as well a lesson of sitting with this discomfort, and that we are not so tolerant nowadays to discomfort, and thinking of a tick, yeah, tick season is on, and I'm like, I go in the forest. I do put a little spray of essential oils on my ankles, but I know that that's not what's going to protect me if I need to get a tick. But Aris hadn't got any, and he's just wandering in forests, and that's really, really interesting.
Ooh, I'll give you a tiny nugget maybe to kind of wrap it this beautiful experience up with a bow. What I heard years ago, which has stuck with me. So there's always an exchange, right? They come for a reason, and we're a perfect match for each other, whether they exchange in just their presence or they exchange, what people fear most is getting Lyme. But I walked in somewhere, and there was someone wearing a shirt that used the acronym love yourself more every day. So if a tick is coming, that for me stuck as something positive to say, oh, I'm working on self-love. And what we know about Aris and your experiences, you're learning to love yourself a lot more through watching him. And so that exchange, if that becomes the premise, instead of like, there's fear around it, I know it's coming, and that might be one of the messages. Well, then fantastic. Like, oh, what was I just thinking, or what was I stewing in my mind? Kind of like when you go into the forest, let me pull the essence of who I am back in. So I don't need to exchange that. They're willing to come give us love more every day, love myself more every day, if we aren't willing to give it to ourselves. That's just one little, nuance of the AniMirror of tick for me. That is just wonderful, right?
Yeah,
And we don't have to
I
we don't have
see
to fear it.
I see everything parasitic in the very same way. Like you could say that they're parasite, human, abusive relationship, etc. They are all coming to show you the extent to which you are not respecting yourself, to which you are not having boundaries, to which level you are not loving yourself, and so that, yeah, the Lyme, love yourself more, very much the same story.
Yeah.
And another thing from AniMirror workshop, and the last one, there was a girl who realized how amazing she was because everyone was telling her how amazing are her dogs. And since that share, I'm sometimes I say to ours, "Oh, good boy, you're such a good boy," and then I'm like, "I'm a good boy."
Yeah.
And, I give him all kinds of compliments, and then with my partner, and then I'm like, and then I give all the same to myself.
Love
Yeah,
it.
and I come from very far. I am like the most insecure, not self-worth issues, and etc., etc., etc. And it's such a powerful healing to use this lens. And I want to share as well that when I started AniMirror, I was very new with GNM. I did in that autumn, I did take 3 courses at time. So I just superpowered myself in knowing basics and knowing how to understand bigger principles. But it's amazing that in AniMirror, you don't really need to have those GNM principles. You can just just bring what comes, and from what comes, that's from you just find out. It's like Amy said, you ask, and you just ask, and then there is unwrapping. But the mirror, yeah, I mean, I knew it within me that it's so true, and I know it in other life, in everything in life. It's mirroring. We don't like to admit it. We don't like to be conscious of it, because then we can't blame everything around us. And but somehow through the course, there was such a different level of seeing. It's like once you have seen it, you cannot unsee it, and it's in front of you. And there are many things, many things. And now I realize, when you have several pets, okay, there are many things, but anyways, you will deal at one thing at a time, for which you are open and ready. And like, when you are ready to deal with it, then you will get it. And then and you're not going to resolve like everything like straight away, or understand everything straight away, but everything has its time, and everything is in the right time and right timing, and
True
pace, I
quintessence.
mean,
That
well.
is it. The quintessence, which is the 5th. It is it. It's it. Right timing, perfect everything. The perfect reason for the perfect thing at the perfect right time. Yep, absolutely.
Wow. So beautiful. Thank you, Guna. This has been so expansive. We covered so many wonderful little nuggets that will expand other people, that will help them to just get thinking along these lines. It's just such a benefit to have your stories, your direct experiences, and for these things to be unfolding in real time, because it doesn't end. This is just the tip of the iceberg, and there's more to see, there's more to learn, there's more, video game levels for us to keep becoming more. I think that's the journey of life, and the game of life is, all right, let's play. Okay, let's get everything we can get out of this level. And then, when we've learned the lessons, more will continue to unfold. And so this is just such a beautiful little gem to have along the way, is how we can connect with our animals. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. And speaking to, no one needs to know anything. They just need to start exactly where they are, just like the maps, where you get rerouted. You don't have to go back to the beginning. You don't have to know anything about GNM or AniMirror. You just jump in and say, what is this about? That's exactly it. So thank you so much for your willingness to share with everyone this way, in particular, your own personal experiences. And can't wait to hear what comes next with you and Aris. So thank you everyone for listening, for watching. And where can we find us? AniMirror Podcast on Instagram. And of course, Guna mentioned the course, the AniMirror 15 module course, and the live experience, which we're going to be launching again in some new ways, but we do singles at the moment, every other Friday. If you want to join in exactly this exact setup, we get on live, you get to ask anything you want of any topic, with anything that's coming up with you personally and or your animal, and we take it from there, and it unfolds. We never know how it's going to come unravel in front of us, and we all get something from it. So thank you everyone for listening. Thank you, Guna, for showing up for us and for each other, and for Aris. Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
We hope that the messages from today's episode landed with you. Your animal knows, nature knows, your biology knows.
Everything reflects you. Every symptom, sensation, and synchronicity. It's all a mirror.
If you're ready to go deeper, join us inside the full 15-module AniMirror course, or come alive with us in the next AniMirror Live experience. You can check animirror.com for upcoming dates.
You can also book a private AniMirror immersion with both of us if you want to dive deeper and more privately. If you wish, contact us at support@animirror.com.
And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the AniMirror podcast on YouTube and Spotify.
Until next time, if you dare to be willing to look into the mirror, we're here.